So we're welcome back to the continuation of our debrief session. I believe we took a nap, we rested a bit, even though the time is short. So let's continue quickly with.
I'll be back in 2 minutes, sir. Just 2 minutes. I'll be back, sir.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So Umar is still on the call, so we'll continue. All right, Aisha is joining, so we just continue. Okay, so we'll look at question 3. Question 3 looks at yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Omar. So question 3 was a fundamental topic looking at audit risk. Audit risk is a fundamental topic, and the examiner's report suggests students struggle. Actually, students struggle. The examiner, if you look at his report, he suggests that students struggle with the components of audit risk and how to respond to assessed control risk. That's the A part. If you look at the question, the A part is on audit risk and the B part is on control risk. 11 and 9 marks. So the component of audit risk, in answering it, you need to use real-world examples to illustrate each component. It's very important. So if you look at the answers, you can see real-world examples. So go through. So you need to illustrate with real-world examples. So for example, inherent risk. A company in a rapidly changing technology industry has a high inherent risk of inventory obsolescence, inventory expiry, inventory getting obsolete. So that's an example of an inherent audit risk. Take note of that. So the components should be discussed in detail, like you see in the solution. And number 2, the second part, in responding to control risk, you need to explain the relationship between control risk and substantive procedures. You need to explain the relationship between both of them, control risk and substantive procedures. This is very, very important. And that's what you see in the factors where control risk exists. So you need to, for example, a high control risk means that the auditor needs to perform more substantive procedures to reduce the detection risk. You need to give examples of how the audit plan might change. So you may need to increase your sample size and perform more detailed testing. So that's how to write and attend to this question. This is very, very important. So that is question 3 and how to attack it. So the solution is clear, and that is how to reach out to it. So read it. Then if you have any conceptual issue, we'll be getting to that topic in our lectures. So pay attention to that or this area that is being tested. Okay, so let's move to question 4. If you don't have any questions, question 4. All right, so I'm saying question 4. Specialists is a practical question. The feedback from the examiner suggests that students could define specialists substantially. Yeah, so a substantial number from the examiner's report shows that students could define specialists. But they struggled with circumstances requiring a specialist and how to assess their competence and objectives. So the definition was not an issue looking at the examiner's report, but the circumstances that warranted the employment of the services of a specialist And how to assess a specialist competency and objective was the challenge with students based on the examiner's report. Yeah. So read the examiner's report. Is good to understand the pitfalls, and the A part 6 marks, B part 6 marks, C part 6 marks, 3 marks, sorry. And it's a 15-mark question. So emphasize in your answering that a specialist is there to provide expert opinion. Expert opinion. So take note of that in answering your question. Is there to provide expert opinion in areas where the auditor lacks expertise. So the auditor is still responsible for overall opinion on the financial statements, but they rely, or the auditors rely on the specialist to work in specific areas where he doesn't have knowledge. Very important. So the second part in answering it, the B part, you need to understand why the need for a specialist is important. And also, a competent specialist provides reliable information, and an objective specialist provides unbiased information. So those are the key points in building up your answers.
So can you repeat that again?
Oh, okay.
Because this particular one, I don't think I answered, because I was in my mind, I tried to choose 5 questions, Abi. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Since you did not indicate, I said, maybe it was a mistake. So I think I skipped that one. So
okay.
Let me see the question.
All right, it's fine. So you'll be assessed based on 100 marks, 5 questions. No problem. Okay, so I was saying about the B part. I said the competency and objectivity of a specialist. I said candidates need to understand the why. The need for a specialist is important, and communicate that. So a competent specialist provides reliable information. Then an objective specialist provides unbiased information. So that was what I said. A competent specialist provides reliable information, and an objective specialist provides unbiased information. This one you're saying, say it again. You want to make me cram it, I will just cram it.
The ones who cram, the one cram. A competent specialist provides reliable information,
while an objective one provides unbiased information. You know, when you keep saying something repetitively, you are cramming, you just cram it.
Yes.
I'm telling you. So read through the answers. There's no time to really repeat the answers here. Read through the answers and the exam report. Then we thank you for that that question. Is a good one. So do we have any other questions, so that we'll move to question 5? We already have the solution, so I'm just telling you my own thoughts on the solution. Okay.
So which year was this?
I will not tell you now. Let me finish.
Tell us that we've done it already. We've done it already, so we might as well go back to it and look at it.
Okay, you're right. It's May 2010. May 2010.
Does it exist?
But you can see how practical it is with the current.
Does the Pathfinder have it? May 2010.
I shared it on the. I have shared it on the platform, but I know you will not go know that this is May 2010. It's on the platform. The Pathfinder is there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
May 2010.
It's May 2010. Yeah. Okay. So let's move to question 5. So let me go to the question. 2 bullets, 10 marks and 5 marks. Okay. The main question is on quality control, the essential for any audit practice actually. And the examiner's report, indicates poor understanding. And in fact, it's very disturbing. If you look at the examiner's report, it was concerning. It was very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. Quality control elements. If you look at the question, You need to use practical examples to illustrate each element. Very, very important. So in answering this question, please read the study text. Though we have not gotten to that topic in our lectures, we'll get to that. You need to apply practical examples to illustrate each element of the quality control elements in the question. This is very, very important. So it was disturbing to the examiner, aside a lot of people not attempting it, but then those that attempted, man, the response was bad. Yeah, so you need to work on this. Use practical, aside using practical examples to illustrate your element. So for example, when you're talking of independence, the first answer, talking about independence, a firm should have policies in place to ensure that partners and staff do not have any financial or personal relationship with clients. So if they have financial or personal relationship, say for example, partners of a firm having shares in a company, or they and the owners of the company run a business together, I mean, that would impair their independence. So you need to apply practical examples to answer this question. So for example, I just stated that of independence. When you're talking of personnel management, acceptance and continuance of client, and also monitoring. So you need to apply practical example in answering this. So read it. It's a critical area, and candidates really did bad based on the examiner's response. So the second part, the B part, emphasis. What is the emphasis on system or on a system of quality control? You need to explain that this is about building confidence. Yes, you need to explain that this is about building confidence. And in building this confidence, it will impact the firm's work. It's about having processes and procedures in place to ensure that audits are performed to the highest of standard. The quality and work produced from the audits is qualitative. This is important in communicating your answers. So you can see measures and what they include. So actually, you can see he said the overall performance was poor. So please, you need to be familiar with this area, and we'll come to that module in the lectures so that we can speak to that very, very practically. Okay, so if we don't have any questions on question 5, let's move to the final question. Question 6. Question 6. It's a good question actually to differentiate between related but distinct service audits, and I think that's chapter 1. The poor performance of students suggests that from the examiner's report, students needs better clarity on these definitions: audit, attestation, and assurance. So the performance was actually poor, and that's chapter 1. And we have videos on YouTube, the practical live lectures. I also did the video recordings that were specific on each session, each unit. I finished chapter 1, I put it on YouTube. So please go over it, because the examiner's report was not nice. Now, if you look at the answers for question 6 and the suggested solution, you can see that candidates need to use precise language. Audit involves independent examination and opinion on financial statements. So those keywords, independent examination and opinion on financial statements, are very essential. While attestation provides assurance on a specific assertion. A specific assertion. So that's what assurance talks about. And attestation is on a specific assertion, I beg your pardon. While assurance is a broader concept that combines or encompasses both audit and attestation. So read the differences is in the chapter 1, and I've already covered that on the YouTube videos, specifically the recordings are there. We have the live class too on YouTube. So understand these definitions because they could come again. And also looking at the second part of the question, which has to do with briefly explaining their differences and similarities. So you can put it in a table or you can talk about it in numbered points. So any way you put it is fine, table or in numbered points. So you need to focus on the level of assurance provided and their scope of work. Assurance level of services provided, and their scope of work. That's what you need to write about for the chapter 6. This is very important. Okay, so having looked at that, let me just provide us general tips on the case study, especially with what we've seen in these 6 questions. You need to focus on application. Application is different from just general theory. So most of us have experience, and if you don't have experience from the lectures and what we talk about, and that is why in chapter 2, most of those lectures I included cases. So most of us that missed the lectures, you really miss, because I used to add cases, practical cases that have happened, especially on audit failures, audit firms, what they did, how companies crashed. So these are practical world scenarios that help students to practice case studies and simulate them. So focus on application is very important. I also do, for some topics, we also do MCQs, 5 questions. We test ourselves after each session. So the live classes are very interesting, though few of us attend. Few of us attend the class because of maybe time and our commitments. I understand, but try to revisit the videos. They will help you very much. So understand the why. Another point is tip. Understand the why. I've spoken about that. So don't just memorize definitions and concepts. Make sure you understand the underlying rationale behind those concepts. And I can't overemphasize practice, practice, practice. So the more you practice, the better prepared you'll be for the exam. That cannot be overemphasized. So also read the examiner's report. The examiner's report provides valuable insights into common mistakes and areas where students need to focus. And the examiner likes to frequently test anywhere that is concerning for students in subsequent diets. So read the examiner's report as you are reading the solution. So like this one on the screen, I've included the examiner's report. I copied it verbatim from his Pathfinder. So it's exactly how he stated it, the pitfalls. Examiner results are pitfalls, and they will tell you why you should not go into those same pits during the exam. So please read them, take your time to read it. And also develop your exam technique, like the time management strategy I shared before this debrief is very crucial. So students need to practice answering questions under time conditions. It works. It will be challenging to go to the exam on that day without practicing on that. It will be challenging. You may pass, but then it will be stressful. So just focus on these points. It will help you develop critical thinking, analytical skills that you need to pass the AAA exams. It's very important. So in summary, or let me just do a recap. Understand the question requirements. Carefully read each question. Read it twice. That's why maybe for question 1, you have 5 minutes, at least use 5 minutes to read twice, like we said from the strategies before answering the question. Read it twice. Identify key verbs, if possible, underline it on the question where they say explain, discuss, analyze, evaluate. Take note of those key verbs and anything you are required to do. Underline or highlight these key phrases. Very important. So break down complex questions into smaller parts. So don't jumble them together, break them down. So where is A, where the requirements are complex, break them down and answer them with bullet points, Roman numeral alphabets. It will be good, and the examiner will just be awarding you your marks. Don't jumble all the answers together. You can see how he structured most of his answers. So as we are doing mock exams, we'll be looking at the structures and the way he solutioned it, the headers, the subheaders. Please maintain a good structure. It will sail you through the exams very seamlessly. Also plan your answer before writing. Jot down a brief outline, maybe at the back. Just jot down a brief outline at the back or at the back of your mind. Map out the points you want to cover. This will help structure your response logically. It ensures also you address all the aspects of the question once you jotted down the points. A few seconds of planning can save you minutes of rambling or shooting blank bullets. So just take a few seconds, plan your answer. You can pen it down at the back of the script. You may not need the back of the script. And if you've written and you've overshot the script, you need extra script, just cancel one line, cancel it so that he knows that your planning time is not part of the answers. It will save you minutes of rambling and writing off point if you plan well. Also, another tip I would say is prioritize and focus. Answer the questions you feel most confident about. I've spoken about that in the time management strategy for those that maybe are just coming. So you mustn't start number one first. Case study, if you are a bit blank, you don't know everything. If number 6 or number 4 is the best, you know how to please answer it first. Let it come in the first page where the examiner will see it. If you can get 50 marks from question 6 or 20 marks from any of those options, answer the questions you feel most confident about first. Because it builds momentum, allows you to allocate more time to more challenging questions. So like the 54, 36, 27 we did, your best question can come lesser than those times. So you just allocate the remaining time to the other challenging questions. So please do your best answer or be your best question first. And like I cannot overemphasize saying relate theory to practice. And in my teaching, I try to bring practical scenario, like I've said. Please relate theory to practice. Some of us that work in audit firms, we are working as accountant in business. Please bring your practical experience and possibly illustrate your points with real life example of what you've gone through or case studies. It demonstrates a deeper understanding and earns you more marks than simply reciting definitions. Exactly. AAA is more of application. So all the definitions you should be done with that in AA, the skills level. So this is advanced. Practicals, very important. Also use precise language. Avoid vague and too much English or ambiguous times. One of the challenges I have is too much English, and maybe because I read wide, you want to write English that comes to your head. There are some terms that the examiner may not understand, but maybe it practically resonates with what you are writing. So try to simplify your communication. Define key terms and use those key terms consistently through your answers. Get to the point quickly. And that's why sometimes if I'm writing and I write one English, juxtapose, grandiloquent, I'll use dictionary and look for the simplest one. What is that? May I understand grandiloquent? Do you want the examiner to be using dictionary to read your answer? So most of the time, if I write, I'll just reduce the English, check dictionary, and bring down the points to something very relatable and lower. So get to the point quickly, avoid unnecessary jargon or fluff. Also, show your reasoning. Don't just state facts or opinions. Explain why, how. So why do you hold a particular view? Back up your arguments with evidence from maybe auditing standards, relevant regulations, and practical experience. So show your reasoning. Use phrases like, this is because, or so therefore, to connect your points. This is because this, or therefore, so connect your points with that. And also please maintain a professional tone. Maintain a professional tone. Use clear, concise, and professional style. Avoid informal language, informal abbreviations that are not official, or abbreviations. So use proper grammar and punctuation. Don't abbreviate unnecessarily. If you're abbreviating ICAN, understood. But don't say THE is D, letter D. No, don't do that. That's very informal. So maintain a professional tone. This is key. Then please answer all 5 questions. Or let me say attempt. Attempt all the 5 questions. So some of them are divided into sub-parts. Make sure you address each part completely or possibly based on the time allocated. So don't forget to use headers and subheaders to separate your answers to differentiate part of the questions. As you can see on the solution, you see how they separated with headers and subheaders. Explanation is explaining audit, is explaining attestation, is explaining assurance, the similarities. So headers and subheaders should provide your answers very concisely and also be realistic. You won't know everything. Of course, we don't know everything. Focus on demonstrating your understanding of the core concepts and your ability to apply them. So I acknowledge and we acknowledge we don't know everything, of course. If you are unsure of a specific point, acknowledge it, be free. You won't write it down, but then move on to what you know to do. And that's why you are giving options. So you cannot answer the 7. So to the best of your knowledge, the 5 you can answer, please answer it well. And on the time management, I've overflogged that. So allocate your time proportionately. It works. Try it in the mock exam. Don't just write haphazardly. Allocate the time based on that 54, 36, 27. Adjust based on difficult marks for each question. The ones that have surplus answer time, move them to the ones that have difficult question. Move the time there. But make sure you stick to, so for example, that 30-mark question should generally get more time. So that's why we said for 54, 36, 27. Since it's more of a difficult question, the case study especially. And also stick to your time plan during practice. So watch the clock. I know you may not have a wristwatch, but watch the clock, the big one the examiner puts there, or a timer to monitor your progress. So in practicing, also do that, put a time before you. And in the actual exam, if you are running out of time on a particular question, like I opined, move to the next one. Come back to it later if you have time. Don't get bogged down. If you are struggling with a particular question, don't disturb yourself. Don't spend too much time on it. Take note of it and move on. Go to the other ones you are okay with. You can always come back to it later. Also, another tip, practice under time condition. Please practice. The best way to improve your time management is to practice answering questions under time condition. This will help you get a feel of how long it will take you to answer different types of questions. So please do that. I'll be simulating as we are providing the mock exams for you. And other skills like your analytical skills, the ability to analyze complex situations, for example, the case study. So identify how, why, identify key issues, draw logical conclusions, which is very critical and crucial. Practice analyzing case studies and apply your knowledge in these different scenarios. Also, critical thinking is another skill that is needed for AAA. Don't just accept information on face value. Question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and form your own judgments as you communicate your thoughts. Then your communication skills cannot be overemphasized. The ability to communicate your thoughts, your ideas clearly, concisely is very, very essential. Please practice writing clear and well-structured answers. I'm glad some of you submitted your script. So I'll take note and I'll tell you honestly what I believe is the reason. And some of the scripts, or most of them, I use AI to mark. Gemini can help mark. So it will pinpoint 1 or 2 things to me. So I'll not mark it alone. I'll scan it, put it on AI, Gemini, to help me pinpoint 1 or 2 things. You know, Gemini transcribes from handwritten to text, and you can prompt it to give you what the person has done. So I'll also mark and tell AI to, so I'll give you a honest feedback. So this is to help your communication skills improve. So when I send you the feedback, just take note of it and also enhance your problem-solving skills. In my few years of auditing, I think I'm 5 years plus in auditing. One thing with auditing I've noticed, it involves solving problems. Auditing is about solving problems. So develop your problem-solving skills by working through case studies and simulations. So for example, question 1 is always a case study. And that's what generally auditing is about. If you're in internal audit or external audit, you have problems to solve. Then professional skepticism. Maintain a question in mind as you are going through case studies or the questions. Don't be afraid to challenge management assertions. Be alert to red flags, even in the questions, and investigate them as you are writing, penning your thoughts. So be resilient. Resilience means if you are discouraged or you are down, get up. If you have not done well in the exam, get up. Exams are very stressful. Develop strategies like some of them I've shared with you for managing stress, staying focused under pressure. You go to work, you come back in the night, you have to read, weekends are choked. It's just for a while. Get enough sleep and make sure you rest so that you can refresh. Eat healthy. It's very important. So based on the specifics, like specific tips I'll give you in attempting other mock exams, please focus on key standards. We are currently we have passed professional standards in chapter 2, harmony. I think we have entered not chapter 2, unit 1 of chapter 2. We are in unit 2. So if you can attend, you can go through the videos. Focus on key standards. Be thoroughly familiar with the key auditing standards, the ISAs and pronouncements. Refer to them explicitly in your answers where relevant. Also understand the ICAN syllabus. We have 16 chapters. We are currently on chapter 2, the study text. Make sure we want to try and cover all the syllabus, the 16 of them, before the exams, since we are recording the class. So pay particular attention to areas where you feel less informed and less confident. Pay attention to those areas. And based on the past questions, review the examiner's reports. Like I've said, it will help you and his format. The questions he frequently tests. Familiarize yourself with the format of the exam. We've talked about that, the types of question asked, and the level of detail required. So the examiner's report, I can't overemphasize it. Pay close attention to it. And the past questions, they provide valuable insights into common mistakes and areas where students need to improve. So by developing this, you should be able to harness your skills when you employ these techniques and significantly improve your performance on AAA. Remember, it's not just about what you know, but about how effectively you can demonstrate that knowledge under exam condition. This is very, very important. So please take note of that. These tips are very, very key to acing AAA. Very important. So in the absence of any other point, I think I've exhausted most of what I want to talk about. It's 9:44. So let's share. If you have questions, observations about the general mock, please go ahead. We have 15 minutes, but if we don't have anything, please, we can close. It mustn't be 10 o'clock. At least we have more time to look through the questions, look at the slides before we go to bed. So I think I've talked so much today. All right, ACS. The floor is open.
I've tried though. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It's noisy.
Yeah. It's not, but then we have to do it.
Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Well done, sir.
You're welcome. The pleasure is mine. So I've shared the solution on the platform, so you can have it, and also the slide that talked about the time management strategy. So the video will be ready by tomorrow. I cannot upload tonight, so tomorrow I'll just work on it, edit it, and upload it tomorrow. As I work, I double task, I multitask. So as I'm working, I'm editing, I'm uploading. So you get it by tomorrow on the platform. So those maybe that couldn't make it to the lecture will be able to. And if you need to go back to it, please go back to it to hear and rehear again. And if you have any comments, please, you mustn't come to the WhatsApp platform. Please post it on the videos as you are watching it, so that your thoughts don't escape. You have a question, maybe you had something you were trying to just post it in the comment section. I will respond. I get a pop-up on all the YouTube videos immediately from my handle, my mobile phone. So I'll respond to any questions, so that my goal is just to help you understand the concepts, the applications, and any key issue you have. So please feel free to use the comment section on the YouTube platform if you're going through a video, or if you have any question, put it on the WhatsApp page or chat me personally. I will respond.
All right.
Okay, so yeah,
sorry,
please.
I want to ask, when are we getting our scripts back?
Your script, yes.
No,
Exactly. So you Julie even asked that question. So before Friday, I should start marking tomorrow. So tomorrow next, and by Friday you'll get your script. And that same Friday, mock exam 2. You are getting the mock exam 2 question. But what we'll do is, if we release it on Friday, we'll use 1 week. So the first week of March for AAA, and for those that are writing case study, you'll get the first exam. So we'll use 1 week. Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, through the weekend, next weekend, we'll use it to answer. So you just pick a 3 hours that is easy for you, since we have other lectures, we have work, we have other commitments. So at least 1 week should do for you to be able to give 3 hours to attempt it. Abi? It's fair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we'll release it on Friday, then you have next weekend to submit maximum. So you have ample time to look at it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. You're welcome. So any other observation?